Evening, guys. Welcome to the Devil's Advocate podcast, post-match review of Manchester City. Before we get going, just a quick reminder that we're actually in partnership with Manchester Mind. If you have a look down there, you will see a text number where you can donate £3, please. Anything and anything will help. There are loads and loads of people out there that are desperate for communication, desperate for somebody to talk to. As always, the guys here at the Devil's Advocate podcast 100% are there and will be here if you need us. You can get us on our Twitter handles or email the Devil's Advocate podcast direct. With me today, we're missing Reese at the moment. He's going to be with us shortly, but we've got Hammer and we've got Nathan. Euphoria, 8 minutes in, turns to disaster, 98 minutes in. Just one of those games where we seem to get it right first half and we seem to get it wrong second half. City, all of a sudden, there was no sweat on their players. God knows what they're taking, but they can sneak and run around for 100 minutes, no problem whatsoever. It's all a bit off with me with City, I'm afraid. It's not sour grapes. It's just all a bit off with me. But anyway, Hammer, just give us a brief and see what you think.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of it. Like I think I started saying backstage. Unfortunately, but not unfortunately, I think we all have to somewhat agree on that there is a talent level disparity there. There's a depth level, one with the injuries we have already, and even without injuries, there's only so much we got coming off the bench compared to them. However, I think overall, if you want to be semi-positive, Rashford, if you want to say answered some people, sure, that was a ridiculous goal. I think Ten Hag actually set up correctly. We were playing well against them in the first half. But that second half didn't start off great. Foden, that first goal is what it is. It's the same thing like Rashford's goal. You got to just pick it out the net, right? But that second one, he should not have been able to walk in. That was some bullshit. And I'm sure we'll get a little bit more into that when we get forward. But we is capitulated the right way of saying that word in the second half.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I think it came down to differences in talent, but also just that I turned it off after that third goal. I know it was over anyways, but that just annoyed me with how stupid it was to give up a third goal like that. The mentality, I don't want to keep harping on it because maybe more people will put out stuff like Rashford, but it was just the mentality wasn't there in the second half. And I don't get how that's possible when you're fortunate enough to be leading City at the Etihad with the form that they're in, and you come out in the second half that flat. So yeah, that's my things on it.
Yeah, I mean, Nathan, welcome to the show. Welcome, Reese. It was massively. Yeah, I think Hammer's made a really good point. Did we just lose focus in the second half? We changed the way that we played for sure. We started playing out from the back in the second half rather than changing up like Anana did in the first half, which, to be honest, flunked City. City weren't 100% sure how to do that. So what are your thoughts on the game and where do you think it kind of fell apart for us?
I think, like you said, it's amazing that Route 1 football still worked, and it was working really well in the first half, and we were really going for it, and the breaks on the counter-attack were really working for us, and that goal was just unbelievable. But once you start going back to the way we're supposed to be playing, apparently, this playing out from the back and tippy-tappy bullshit, it just started, like Hammer said, capitulating, and it just went all completely wrong, and they managed to get themselves back in the game. But like Judo said in the comments, it's just a case of we were just beaten by a superior team, and I think we played a lot better than I was expecting. I as soon as the first corner came up in the first minute, I was like, right, just throw the towel in now. Let's get it over with. We're going to lose either way. Then we score, and we're actually playing really well. But we were beaten by a superior team. They had much better depth than us. We didn't have much options. It got to a point where he wanted to make tactical changes, and it was like, well, what can you change? There's nothing we can change here that's going to improve in any way, in my opinion. it just made it really difficult to make any tactical changes at all when we were just lacking that much depth on the bench.
Yeah, it is a massive, massive problem for us, to be honest. I don't know. I just feel that we got it so right first half. We frustrated them. I mean, City, as good as people think that City are, they play like fucking 8-year-olds running around the fucking pitch, chasing, with likes of Foden, Haaland, Alvarez when he comes on, Silva. Reece, what was your thought process?
Not much, I'll be honest. I don't think we were particularly good at all. Like, I think the fact that we did get an early goal definitely was surprising. I didn't expect that to happen in any shape or form. I actually didn't even expect us to score, I'll admit. In terms of the actual game itself, though, I mean, it was typical City in the sense of, like, if they don't start well, they're going to finish well, and they certainly did that. I mean, the fact that they had 27 shots compared to the 3 we had is a big significance of control. Very big significant, and it's significant for output. But in terms of the game itself, like, again, it's identity. It is identity. That is a big question about this team. Where is it, and what is it supposed to be? And I don't think we were great. I think at some stage, when you look at some of the game, you would say that we deserved a point. Maybe not the end of it, but some of it we definitely deserved. We deserved a point. Then the worst thing is, though, is we were cowardly.
Yeah.
Like that is like, I don't understand how it doesn't matter the opposition. Like, how can you not at one point even attempt to actually go for a shot? Like, we're not like some average squad. Well, actually, that's a lie. We are average. But when you look at name of a club, we're not an average club name. We're not a Fulham, for example. We're not a West Brom or a West Ham. Like, we should be doing a hell of a lot more. And the fact that we're being reduced to playing like a bunch of average bums just says it all about this team. And in the end, we got royally beaten, and it's just a reflection of just how shit we are. So at one stage, I thought we were fine, and I think it was purely. It wasn't even the first goal for me. The worst thing is, the bad feeling I got is, you knew a City goal was coming when Haaland missed it from 2 yards out. You just knew it was absolutely brilliant miss, but you knew something was coming after that miss, because now they're starting to go, we're still going to play our way, but we're just going to be more direct now. All the passing sideways and all that bollocks started to dwindle, and it was right. We're just going to play more direct balls, even if we're going to pass it about you and just suffocate possession. We're just going to come at you now, and that's exactly what they did. We, on the other hand, retreated, played 10 men behind the ball, and I'm embarrassed for that. Like, that's not how we're supposed to play. If any Man United fans out there watching this saying that you're happy with playing 10 men behind the ball, even if it's against City, or even if it was against Liverpool, if you're happy with that, then you're insane. Me, on the other hand, like, I get we had to play at some stage behind that. Like, we need to have like that numerical defensive advantage. But you can put 20 men behind the ball against Man City if you're with this current Man United team, and it's still going to make no fucking difference. Yeah,
no, well, that's true. So let's talk about the scourge of the game, which is one Phil Foden. Scored twice, one decent effort, although Lindelof should have absolutely popped him on his ass. And the second, he just ghosted through in between us. How much? What is it with this group of players that absolutely refuse to plough into somebody, plough into a player, and give them something to think about? What is it? Are we too nice?
It's not their style. The only, and real quick, if I could just comment on Mark's comment. I think Evan, I don't fully agree with that. I think Evans was one of the better in the back four, potentially one of the better in the team today, which I know probably isn't saying too much. But overall, they're not like that. Evans is the only old school center back. Martinez is a new school center back in terms of what he can dribble and pass and all that, but he's like that, but he's not here. So Varane's never been that. Dallo isn't that. Lindelof has never been that. When Shaw's in the pitch, he's never been that. So I think it's just not their personality. Now, sure, we can talk about signing new players. We all know we need to sign new players and all that, but things like that need to come into consideration, because when you in a lot of different pairings you can look back, even when Varane was at Madrid, he had two, who was it, Pepe and or Ramos next to him, two complete freaking psychopaths, right? You want to go back on United, Rio and
Not to mention you had the best midfield three in history in front of him.
Correct.
all right, would y'all, I'm making a point on defense here, Reese, god damn it.
You can make defense. You can make defense, but I'm just saying, like for
No, I know that.
If
Yeah,
you haven't got a good midfield, it doesn't matter what you've got.
no, but I'm just talking also in terms of the personality and the personnel of a defense. You need both, and you need balance, and you can see that throughout history and anything. So when you're talking about center backs, you can't have two center backs that are soft. You can't have 3 out of your 4 back four that are soft or more creative, or whatever you want to say, on a defensive side or on a football field. So we just don't have the personnel and the people who have that mentality. I agree with what you're saying. Foden should have been, his freaking sock should have been ripped. He should have been having some blood coming out from some from his knees and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's not like that. And then I will say somebody like Casemiro is like that. But I think we've had the conversation a couple of times during the last few weeks. It's still playing in his head. He knows if he does a semi-bad tackle, he's getting sent off. So I think that's coming into, and I'm sorry, I think I even tweeted, I was shitting myself. He went into like 3 or 4 slide tackles in the first 10 minutes. I'm like, you need to relax, because you're going to get sent off.
I wish he kept going.
But he would have been sent off because it's Casemiro. Not like, so either way.
That's fine. I'd rather in a derby someone actually show some balls, not physically, but like I'd rather someone show some balls and actually just go stuck in. I'd rather just get stuck in. Today, they were all a bunch of fucking cowards. Every single one of them. And
but again, the
biggest coward of them all was the fucking goal scorer.
Yeah, well, we could talk about that too.
He was the biggest pussy on the pitch. I'm not even joking.
On the overall defensive side, that's my point, though. We don't have the personnel who have that style of playing.
Oh, absolutely.
No, yeah, I would agree with that, and that's obviously a source of frustration to me, because football's about it. You've got to. You have to show the dark arts in a game more often than not, and we just don't.
Oh, yeah, Rashi was terrified of it.
Yeah, we just don't seem to have that at the minute. Nathan, how do you think we coped with De Bruyne today? I didn't think we did too bad against him, really. I don't think he was the most influential he's been since he's been back. I thought we played him quite well, but yeah, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. I agree. It definitely felt like we were suffocating him a little bit, and he wasn't able to prove himself quite as much. I know he's not been back very long, so he hasn't been able to get on get his rhythm going again. But I think we definitely managed to suppress him a lot today. Definitely managed to stop him from creating too much. But the problem is that we allowed the other players around him to start creating too much, and that was becoming the issue. So it's all well and good us suppressing one player, but if you're not doing it to the other 3 or 4 players around him, that's where the problems came. But yeah, definitely, I felt we definitely managed to handle him very well. It's just everyone around him that didn't. And going back to like, as soon as that second goal went in, I'm in the same page as Reece. I would have loved to have seen Casemiro go 2-foot-in tackles, someone rip their socks up and bloody the head out of them, get a red card, and think, you know what, fair play. It's a derby. You've done what you've signed for United to do. I've said it many times. I want all the players to drop to their knees at the end of games. I want them to be absolutely fucked. And
like Rodri does it.
Yeah, Rodri doesn't give a shit.
Says it all.
Can I off that what you're saying there, my guy? Like and this is gonna sound weird, but I've never made it at like ridiculous levels. I didn't even get to play college ball over here in the States, and that's like the next level up. I've myself have trained to the point where I've thrown up, washed my mouth out, and continued training. So I really don't understand not having the mentality when you're at that level.
When you're getting paid 200k a week plus, you should be in exactly the same situation. You should be able to train, throw up, beat the crap out of someone, carry on, get red carded. The fans will be happy. If you lose, you lose, but just show a little bit on the pitch,
Yeah,
professional athletes are fucking coddled. That's what they are.
Yeah, they are. I think you're going to see something akin to that next year. That's next season. Something that Brailsford, in particular, is very keen on. He's getting the very, very best out of his team. So
I,
we'll see how
I,
close
I
he
don't
sells
care
to.
who it is. I don't care
Yeah,
who's in the team next. I don't care who's in the team next year. If you haven't got a work ethic or a high
we
standard of
don't.
yourself, then I want you gone.
We,
I
yeah,
don't care.
we don't have that work ethic. So that brings me down to you, Reese. What I thought Rodri had a quiet game today, and I hate Rodri, which means I think he's a great player.
I'm the same. Like, I hate how good he is.
Yeah, I just hate him.
He is like he's an
I can't
incredible player. He is
Yeah, I can't
incredible.
abide Rodri. What did you? I thought he was again quite quiet, but he obviously robbed Amrabat for the third goal, didn't he? But other than that, what did you think? He had too much influence in the game?
I think Rodri being quiet is an indictment to how effective Foden was, though. I think that's a major thing, though, is when you look at one player's quietness, does it mean another player comes alive? And definitely, I mean, it says all. It was the first time since 2004 that two players from Manchester have scored in a derby for either side, which says a lot. It's an indictment to the control of the game. I think Rodri was quiet, but he was also very effective in terms of what he needs to do. And I think Gary Neville's comment from Onana's save in the first half was a little bit like Gary Neville getting all early in himself. Like Rodri didn't hit that ball well. Like he didn't hit it well. He didn't connect at all. If Rodri had hit that the way he wanted to, that was 1-0. That's going bottom corner. If he had hit that,
Yeah, it was
it hit off his ankle. Hit off
yeah,
his ankle.
shin stroke ankle. Yeah,
Like a help his ankle. Like that's not connecting the ball well unless you meant to do it. Like come on, he wanted to rattle that with the top of his foot because he knew it was going in. So like
yeah.
Gary Neville again, stop getting all pre sorted out over City, you bloody goon. Like in terms of the actual performance, though, I thought Rodri in midfield was he didn't really have to do anything. Our midfield was wank.
Well, that's the other thing, isn't it? Yeah, did we allow
Like,
him to have quite an
Rodri
easy
could
life?
have Rodri could have sat on the half like all game and get paid all he has to do, and Pep would have applauded him because he only needs one moment, and he did. That was at dispossessed. Rodri can sit in his arse for 90 minutes, and nobody's getting past him anyway. He's the best midfielder in football for a reason, in my opinion. Like people say, De Bruyne's the best midfielder in the world. For me, it's Rodri. Like he's just on a whole different level for a reason. Like there's nothing that he can't right now. There's nothing in his game that he cannot do.
Yeah,
Like there's nothing. Like the guy is just on a different level. He's incredible, and it pains me to see him in a City shirt. And it's more
I-
reflective in the circumstance of where we are compared to where we were 10, 15 years ago, where we had players of that ilk, that quality in our team. Now we've got nothing that comes close to his level. No one in our team is on his level. That's how
no,
far ahead he is. He is
yeah,
galaxies ahead.
yeah, and that is a slight concern, isn't it? What do you what when you look at the first half and the second half? It's obviously night and day, chalk and cheese as to how
Oh
we
yeah.
played. I can't imagine that Ten Hag, made a conscious decision to change it too much, to go back to playing out from the back as opposed to old style 1990s football and 1980s football. But the difference between the two halves was cataclysmic. Even word, get me words out, Jesus.
Cataclysmic. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
It was ridiculous in terms of our drop off in our overall performance.
I
So
think it's
were we
more than
tired?
that.
Were we tired?
I don't think we were because we continued to defend well against City in terms of like energy was showing. We just didn't do enough to progress the ball. Like even when we had the ball, it was gone within a few seconds. Like we were really poor. We don't retain possession well. Like nobody in our team is actually capable of it. I think this is my issue with what Ten Hag wants to do. He wants this style of football. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough. Cool. If that Ten Hag's already failed at Man United anyway. The minute he said, I'm not here to play the football, I played Ajax. The minute he said that, he was already out of a job, in my opinion. The minute he said that, that was it. That's a sackable offence anyway. So, in terms of circumstance, what does he want us to do? I don't know. But if anything, there's no indictment where we're going to go. I think we were outmatched, we were outgunned, we were outbossed, and we got put down. Greg said like the legs were gone. Rashford's legs were gone after they couldn't even get past Kyle Walker. The minute Kyle Walker had him, that was it. Rashford was found out. Even more annoying that he dived. Like, nah. Like, we didn't need that in this game. Like, we need him to take on the defenders and fucking score. But If anything, this team isn't good enough to play it from the back, and we've all questioned Ten Hag's stubbornness so many times, or he's just sticking to his ways. That's fine, I understand that, but if this team cannot physically play it from the back, then he needs to think about, well, fine, I'm not going to play the ball from the defenders. I'm going to get the ball into midfield as quickly as possible. If that's the case, then just get Onana to play it straight through. Because we don't have the complete personnel and a wide variety to even do it. Because we don't hold possession well. And when we play a high line with certain players in our squad, we're playing with our backs against the walls anyway.
Yeah, completely.
We're a freak show.
Yeah, completely. The Rashford incident, with Walker, Hammer. He's pedaling through, isn't he, Rashford, and Walker's pedaling after him. He's had his line of coke or whatever at half time, and he's pedaling after him because his eye, you could just tell with him. The thing about that is, if Rashford stops, Walker just bounces off him. If you go across the plate, you just bounce off him. But instead, he's allowing Walker to get hold of him. He's thinking, I'm going to go down here because I don't think Rashford's got anything left in his legs. I think that's the problem.
Well,
I don't think it's Walker. I think the problem is Rashford have got nothing left.
So I don't know. I don't know if I can not that early. If you want to talk about later in the match, maybe. But there were too many times, and now with Rashford cutting it back on Walker and stuff like that over and over to stop, which effectively stops an attack. A thought crossed my mind, and I know he's technically still too young to have this thought. Has he lost a freaking step of pace already?
There's no like. I get what you mean, but for me, there's no excuse for him being young.
No. I know.
I get what you mean, though. Like, if he has lost a yard, a step, or whatever, then it's
because then he's cut. When I say cut, I don't mean like, well, he might be gone soon anyways. But like, if he's lost a step of pace, his weak points was variety in dribbling. His weak points was variety in attacking methods. He either, when he was doing well, he was taking people on the byline and doing something, and then other times that he was doing okay was he was one-dimensional on his right. So he's
very one-dimensional on that.
So if he's lost a step of pace, he's lost a lot in his game.
Yeah, I think another indictment as well of him as well is like people say that when he's on the left, he's our best left winger. No. I don't see it. I don't see it anymore. I get people rate him religiously, and that's fine. Like, he had a great season last year, but it's like I said on last week's show. Last season he was Vader from Rogue One. This season he's Vader after he gets beat by Skywalker in Return of the Jedi. He's finished. He'll probably have another 30-goal season next year, and people will be like, "Yeah, he's back." And then he'll score 5 goals the following season. And then it'll be. He is a psychological study for performance. He is a complete psychological study. Because there's just something about him that you just cannot pinpoint consistency. People always say it's because no Luke Shaw's behind him, but he's just as inconsistent. He is just as inconsistent.
Yeah, he is. I'm going to bring up City's physical attributes as opposed to anyone else actually in the Premier League right now. Not so much when Liverpool won the title. I think they were akin to City's kind of level of fitness, but where are we? Why are we seeing such a chasm in fitness between Manchester United players and Manchester City players today? I will give that to you, Nathan.
I mean, if we're comparing it to ours, it's got to be down the line of the medical staff and the backroom teams. If they've got people doing their jobs properly in the back of the pitch side of things, and you've got the right people in the jobs, maybe that's got something to do with it. Maybe they're working on the stamina and they're working on the fitness and the strength, and not focusing too much on tactics and playing out from the back bullshit. And just if you do your jobs properly, every player on their pitch does their job properly, it's going to work out eventually, and stamina and fitness comes first. It just depends on how their regime is, because we've struggled for the last God knows how many years with our backroom and medical staff and having the fitness all out. Do you know what I mean?
Can I just add a slight caveat to that? When you look back at the Ten Hag's Ajax team, they were super fit. And he's bought most of his, or he's working with a lot of his team from Ajax, who could put this physicality plan together for our medical team, our fitness team, etc. There's something wrong, something fundamentally wrong about the difference in, and I know injuries are a problem as Reese has attested to, etc., but there's something fundamentally.
I will never use injuries or fitness as an excuse, because for me,
No.
you're a professional athlete. You've got no excuse to be unfit or even injuries can happen, but there's some injuries that are definitely your control.
Yeah, well, they are. Yeah, 100%. Look, I'm still playing, and that's because I've looked after myself all these
I think
years.
these players don't give a shit. I think they're like,
I don't
yeah,
think
we
they
got the
do.
money.
Yeah, I mean, look, there is a, we've heard certain things, haven't we? Of they wanted Sunday off after the Fulham defeat, etc.
Yeah, but that's been for, I don't know if it's just this season or it might have been last season as well. They've been complaining about his training intensity.
We've got to stop.
If you complain about the intensity of your training, that just shows to me that you are a basic athlete. If you're being like that, that's like saying, that's like Michael Phelps when go to the Olympics. Like every single year he's winning. Like near enough every time he's went to the Olympics, he's winning gold. If he was told by his trainer, right, I'm expecting you to do 60 laps doing the butterfly, I'm expecting you to do 60 laps doing the breaststroke and then the backstroke, and then he goes, but I want to do 30 instead. I absolutely fucking not. Yes, you're Michael Phelps, but you're expected to do this because you're the greatest Olympian of all time. You have a standard and your expectation. These athletes don't give a fuck.
I think the word you just said there, Reese, is really important, is standard. We haven't got that standard of fitness and stamina and strength and infrastructure to have that. No, you're going to do what we tell you to do. You are a professional athlete. You play for one of the biggest clubs, if not the biggest club in the world. You are expected to go out. And like you say, we haven't got any players on the pitch that are willing to do that. The only one that you may be able to linger towards that is Fernandes, because he's fighting through injuries and playing a lot more games. But we're starting to see that. We're starting to see the standard of his performance. Maybe not his ability. His ability and his performances are slipping because he's having to play so much and he's having to carry so much because none of the other players are really. And it's just dropping all over the pitch. And it goes back to like backroom staff and infrastructure and facilities. Maybe we haven't got the facilities at Carrington to make sure that these players are able to get the best of their abilities and best of their performances out of them. Maybe we just haven't got that at Carrington or at the club. Maybe that's part of it.
It is part of it, but it's also down to the individual. As a player, as an athlete, as a footballer, you go out there and you give it everything you can to win that game of football.
Here's my question though. Here's a question that I've got though. Remember when Ronaldo was signed back to the club? We saw how skinny and small and all that Anthony Elanga was.
Yeah.
He went to another club and trained. So it's his own physical strength. He went to another club, asked to use their facilities, and 3-4 months later he's ripped to fuck. And he's bigger, he's built, and I'm like, that's somebody who cares about his game, and he's flourishing at Forest.
Yeah, he is. He is. Absolutely.
So that says a lot for me.
Look at Chong. Chong got Luton. Scored again.
Yeah,
I know they got beat, but he scored again. Chong did. Mengi played very well for Luton. They are flourishing outside of Manchester United. It's massively interesting to me as a player as to see the disparity in our fitness. As to why we've got it, and
especially when you get mugged by lesser talent. Well, as they say, lesser talent, but we're just dreadful.
Yeah, I think questions need to be asked, but that's just an opinion that I share, not of anyone else on the Devil's Advocate podcast, just my own. It's one of those. Hammer, I'm going to bring you Mr. Onana. I thought he had a solid game today. I really did. I thought he flapped a couple of occasions towards the end of the match, but ultimately I thought he had a really good first half, very commanding, no dicking about with it and all of that. And then all of a sudden we changed. What did you think of Onana's performance today? I was really pleased with it.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Which goal was it? The second goal, he had a weak hand, weak wrist, however you want to frame that. Because if you saw the replay, he got his hand. It wasn't fingertips. He got his hand on it, and it still went through his hand.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree. First half, he was coming out. He was collecting balls that were coming in. He made some decent saves as well. But also, we started seeing more accuracy of what we also supposedly brought him in for. The first goal was that goal was off him. That he was over the top to Bruno. Bruno held it up, laid it off. It came right off his pass. So that he was doing that well in the first half. And then, like you said, I can't imagine that it was Ten Hag that fully wanted us to, like you guys are have been saying, to go back to playing that whatever style we went to in the second half. Maybe it was just, I hate saying legs, and I know we just talked about fitness, but like maybe it was legs at a certain point that they wanted to stop running as they were running for the counters, in the first half. But he's not the one that I'm annoyed at today. Let's put it that way. Even though three goals in, he's not the one I'm annoyed at. So he's coming into more of what we expected. And what I will say, and I know this is probably not fair to talk about it for Ten Hag in this case, but I think this might be one of the final nails in the coffin, depending on how the next couple of weeks go under Ineos. I know they said they're going to wait until the end of the season and all that, but if it starts getting worse, I think they are going to have a hand to be forced. But if he keeps performing, I think he keeps for the new regime and the new coming in next season, he'll keep his position, his starting position.
No, I tend to agree. Look, there's a couple of things that I took from the whole game, actually. I thought our short game today was excellent when we had the ball. Our intricate passing was superb. Where it fell down for us was our defensive clearances and our defensive passes. They were cut out quite easily. As Reece said, Rodri had an easy game based on that, really. We didn't really penetrate. But when we did penetrate and City were pushing up too far, we were very, very dangerous on our attacks. We just lacked that ruthlessness that maybe a Højlund might may have scored today. And it's just, we are a work in progress. I think it will be telling what happens in 2 weeks' time when we play the Scousers in the FA Cup. I think that's is it a live match? I think 4:30, something like that. I think it'll be.
Yeah, I'm going to. That'll be a madness.
Yeah, my ticket came through the other day, so my lad will be going. Believe it or not, fellas, we're 33 minutes in of ranting, and we haven't actually ranted too much, which is good.
I'm quite surprised.
I am as well. I thought, but we expected to lose. I think if every Manchester United fan was being honest, we expected to lose. But did you ever think at one point we might actually get a result here? I'm not saying a win, but maybe a draw. Was there parts in the game where you felt, you know what, we could eke this out, or were you see the pattern of the game?
I think if we'd stuck with that Route 1 football that we were playing and actually was working, because it was rattling them. There were moments that City were genuinely rattled. And I said to my dad, we were watching it together downstairs, and I was saying, they're genuinely rattled here. They're genuinely not knowing what we're going to do next. And it was brilliant. So I would love to see in the next game we play to do Route 1 and just see how it goes. Just to fuck them up real bad and say, hang on a minute, we're not supposed to be playing Route 1 anymore. That's supposed to be an old tactic. Nobody uses that anymore. If it works, it fucking works, And it worked straight away, and we got that goal. And if it meant to park the bus to get the win at the Eithad and get a 1-0 win, I would have been happy. But there was elements of it where it was like, we could get something out of this if we stuck with that. As soon as we started seeing it change and mixing up, and as soon as we conceded that goal, I was like, that's it. It's not the embarrassment we all expected. I was expecting to be maybe 3-0 down at half time and just be like, okay, fair enough. We capitulated today, but we could have done a bit more. But, it wasn't the embarrassment I was expecting. We could have got something out of it if we stuck with that original tactic.
Totally agree with you, Nate. I think you're absolutely spot on with that. I thought exactly the same. So that just leads me on to a question for Reece. And that is, do you think we lost the game because City were better than us, or do you think we lost the game because we allowed City to be better than us? Now, look at the overall game and the way that City play. And they play like 8-year-olds on occasion, don't they? They just chase you around like kids. And look at the fact that we didn't apply any physical pressure on them. Would you consider that allowing we allowed City to dominate us, or was City just in a different stratosphere to us? Because I think it'll be different when they play Liverpool. It was different when they play Chelsea, and I think it'll be massively different when they play Arsenal.
I think the one thing
It's a tough question, mate. I apologise. Not the best question, but
I like a challenge. I think even when they still play those teams, I think you're still going to see an element of City will just kick into a level that these teams can't match. I think it doesn't matter who they're playing against, even when they lose the odd game. When they lose, like to them, like it's, and like to us, like a loss is like its major implication. Right now, a loss to City is, it's like nothing. It's like you've got £100. You take £1 off them, like it means nothing. Like you're just gonna, they're just gonna find another way to get that, like to get a bit more in, and they're just gonna go and rip you to shreds. They are, for them, like obviously the one thing that will change is like how they will adapt to a game, but the elements of their game doesn't overall change. And I think today it was purely they started very slow. Kyle Walker was shite for about 30 minutes. The minute he exposed Rashford, that was it. He was in the game. He was locked in. John Stones was outstanding for 90 minutes.
Yes, I thought Stones was there. Sorry to cut you off. I thought Stones was their best player today.
Rodri was at peace. De Bruyne was growing more hair back by laws of spending money. Haaland was woeful until he scored. I mean, like that was his worst game that I've seen him play. Foden was outstanding. It's purely just when they are. It's when they're ready to go. They're ready to go, and I think the major turning point was the brilliant challenge by Ederson. I think Ederson's brilliant tackle changed the game, because at that point there was more fear in United than there was any sense of confidence. After that, I don't remember us taking a chance on goal. After that.
No, we didn't.
And that was probably the last effort. That was it for me.
That tackle from Ederson was top draw.
Best tackle all season. I was looking to see if
Garnacho could have done something, could have arched his run into Ederson to cause a collision.
I would have. I hope if he had done that, we may have got a penalty. But
when you saw the tackle,
he got there.
He was a good second ahead of Garnacho, wasn't he, winning the ball? So I don't think Arch. This is what I was about to say. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
At the outside, I wondered if he arched his run, caused a collision. When you actually look at it from the angle, he wouldn't have got there, would he? He wouldn't have got there.
I don't think so.
Pick off his line. It was a. Yeah, you're absolutely. It was probably one of the best tackles I've seen this year.
He's an absolute psychopath, but like he must have been a defender in his youth or something besides being a goalkeeper, because that is like top tier. That is top tier defending from a centre back that Ederson did there. It was perfectly timed. It was.
I mean, football's about moments. Football's about moments, Reece. And
after that, it was fear. I think City had elements of, they put fear in us.
Yeah.
Once you put fear in a team, that's it.
I'll take you back to Luton Town, where we were beaten by way of Morgan Gibbs-White picking 3 of our players up in the air for that mad 30 seconds. Changed the game completely. It fired up City. The Forest game, not Luton. Sorry.
Yeah.
Fired up.
To be fair, Barkley made Rashford his bitch on that game as well. So, it's the same thing.
Listen, we're 40 minutes in. I'm sick of talking about Man United losing. To be brutally honest, do we want to do player ratings, or do you want?
I promise not. I won't be harsh this time.
Can I just say this real quick before we say it? I think Pirlo said that football is played with the mind and not the feet, and we do not have enough people.
Fabio Capello said that as well.
I've been talking about it for years, haven't I? Talking about it for years.
Yeah,
he's one of the great managers for a reason. You win football games with your head, not your feet.
And that was what today was. I'm sorry, we don't have enough people in the squad who has the footballing intelligence to keep themselves in a game for a full 90 minutes.
We got brainless chickens.
Unfortunately, we do.
With all respect to them.
Right, gents. Let's quickly go through player ratings. We'll keep it 45 minutes today, guys, because I want to go in. Smash Phil Foden up. I'm going to go to the gym, I think, and hit the bag. And Mr. Foden, I'm afraid you will be the bag. So
I'm going to go pack a couple more things that I packed
works.
at the end of the game.
Yes.
Mind the bag needs to be about 5'2". Like it needs to be a tiny bag.
It does need to be a tiny bag, but I just got to, I've got to hit something. Right then, fellas. I'll start with an honour. Then I'm going to give Nathan the back four. I'm going to give Reese the front three today, and that means
I was expecting midfield, but I'll take
God,
it.
damn
no,
it.
that means Hammer's never hasn't had the midfield for a while, so Hammer gets the midfield. So I'm going to give Anana a 7. I'm going to give Anana, and I'll briefly tell you why. It's the best he's played, in my opinion, this season. And I would never do that. I would never do that with Screwed without Johnny. Well, it's interesting because I thought Johnny Evans played really well.
Came off with him.
I think I take Hammer's point. I think he might have been able to get some on the second one, but I think his overall control and his attempt control in the second half, I think it's the best we've seen. So he gets a 7 for me. So Nathan, you get the entire back four, old friend.
Nice and easy. I think it'd be Dallo's a 5, average. Didn't really do much. Didn't really have to do much. Varane 5. Again, he's been my least favourite player, I think, so far. The first few games, he hasn't really done anything. Hasn't really lived up to that potential, in my opinion. I'm going to give Evans a 6 because he was the best out of the back four. I think that's probably harsh, but I still think he was the best out of the back four. And Lindelof, I'm going to give a 4 because he was woeful in everything he did. There wasn't really anything for me that said he did something good. It was
he can't play left back, Lindelof.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that he was put in that position, but I think so. 5, 6, and a 4 for the
lads. Are you happy with those scores, or?
Oh yeah, I'm not going to complain.
Yeah. Okay, Hammer. So you get the delightful Mino, Casemiro, and the shattered Bruno Fernandes because he is absolutely on his last legs.
You forgot someone else in there.
Are you putting Scotty up?
We don't forget Ghosts.
No, I was going to put Scotty up with you.
No.
Do you don't want Scotty, do you? That's
no. Listen, I already got a hard midfield. Give him Scotty. Get the fuck out of here.
I'll tear him to shreds.
I think you. Yeah, Scotty's a funny one today. But anyway,
I will. So I'll start with Bruno as captain, and I'm gonna.
His work rate today was.
His work rate was great.
Pressing on his own parts of the second half, if you remember parts of the game.
I mean, I'm probably still going to give him a 6.
Okay.
And that might be harsh. But I don't think things weren't amazing today, and other than the the few times when we were actually working well on the counters and all that. So, Casemiro, like I said, he was giving me heart attacks in the first 10 minutes because he kept diving in, 2-footing in the first 10 minutes. He doesn't need to be doing that in the first 10 minutes. But and you know what? I'm probably just going to be biased here, and I'll probably give him a 6 as well with Bruno, just on the different ends of the spectrum for what they do for the team. And I'm sorry, but I am being biased, and I freaking love the kid. I'm going to give him a 7 or a 6.5 or a 7, whichever ones y'all want to take. But he didn't do extraordinary things today, but the things and some of the control that he's had and that we've seen since he came in, there were times when he was the one that got it played into him, and that once we got into their half, and he kept the ball well. So yeah, I'm going to give him a 6.5 or 7 just because I think the kid has turned out to be one of our more well-rounded midfielders and somehow seems to have better calmness than some of the extremely more experienced midfielders around him.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. Reece, just leaves you the front two and Scott McTominay.
McTominay runs around. Well done. 4. Garnacho Garnacho. Everybody knows I rate the kid, but today,
we do.
After they got the fear of death put on him, that was it. So Garnacho 2, and
Sake.
Rashford scored a goal, and after that got massively exposed. Lazy again. Also 2.
Damn.
Like, the goal was incredible, but I'm sorry, but like, if you're going to show lack of commitment, lack of effort, and you're just going to get completely overrun, waste your position, not even track back after Walker dispossessed you, I don't give a flying fuck. You get played to play football, not get played to dive a bit. So then you ought to be generous, 2.5, just because the goal was quality. But apart from that, he was fucking wank.
That's you crack me up.
Well,
guys,
there's Reece.
I think we're going to wrap it up there, lads. I think we're all kind of a little bit. It hurts really because I thought we had a brilliant first half. I do. I know we were under the cosh, but in terms of the way that we played and tried to control as much of the game, it was painful. But when we had the ball, we moved it really, really well. Our short passing was quite nice. But I tend to agree with you, lads. I agree with Gary Neville. I think Rashford hits 30 of those shots and it goes in maybe once.
I think Ineos will seriously consider selling him in the summer. I think if an offer does come in, I think
he goes to PSG or he goes to Saudi Arabia.
And to be, I don't know if he goes Saudi. I think I said on the last show, somebody asked, like, do we think we're going to see the best Rashford again? I said potentially because of his age, but I don't think it's going to be at United.
It's not going to be United.
I think we've already seen the best of Rashford, and it was last season. I think that was his peak.
You know, that's what I mean. Like, is he ever going to get back to that again? He might, because he's in his mid-20s, but it's not going to be at United, unfortunately.
I think he's had that time, and it's over.
And with Mbappe going, there's probably a good chance that PSG are going to throw a shitload of money at Rashford to get him.
I think we'll see him at PSG. Gents, we're going to wrap it up. It's one of those, and I'm going to go to the gym. I think in about half an hour. I was going to chill out and relax. So, just a quick reminder again: the Devil's Advocate podcast, partners Manchester Mind. Please look in on people. Anyone you've not heard from. Anyone that you think might just need your help, just please look into them. Guys, where can we find you? Hammer, you're on Twitter at?
Yep, right there at Hammer United. You can find me there. And then, as I've been saying now off the back of Stu's Manchester Mind, if you need some motivation and stuff to listen to as well, check out my link. I got some podcasts about mental health in there.
Absolutely. And Nath?
You can find me there. I don't tweet very much, but you're more than welcome to tweet abuse at me.
And Reece, of course, where can we find you, Paul?
Yeah, the Weekly Steel Chair and the World of Football podcast, where you can find me bar the odd appearance on here.
Yeah. Reece, somehow get a message to The Rock to stop wearing those goddamn shirts. I don't know what the hell he was wearing.
I'll just send him a DM saying, "Can you keep it?"
Yeah. You can abuse me at Stu Woolley, although I did make a guest appearance. I finally made it to the A team. Got on the Talk of the League podcast on Thursday with Julio.
He does like getting abused. He does like getting abused. He welcomes it.
Yeah, I do. I welcome abuse. Please give it to me. Once again, lads, thank you very, very much for joining me. We are Everton in our next match, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Until then, all the very best. Take care, lads. Bye-bye. Bye.